Hello, it's Emma Jo here from Lavinia Stamps, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this. Ooh, exciting! So this is a secret magic recipe. We're going to pop it in a bottle and make a box for it to keep it safe. We are. And I'm going to show you how it's done. Come with me. Right, so I'm using a template that I've made just by deconstructing the matchbox and drawing around it and giving it some lips or things to fold around the original shape. And I'm using Dreamscape papers, and I've chosen a greeny sort of shade. Just going to cut it out. Super speedy. And it sort of reminds me this of when we used to cover our books in school. I don't know if anybody else did that, but we used to cover it with sticky back plastic to protect it, or even brown paper. Anyway, so once I've done that, I'm just going to draw the lines from where I want it to fold. Just as guides, really, and I'm using it on the doing this on the reverse side. Super. And I'm going to get my palette knife and just use its metallic edge to help me fold, get some nice sharp folds. And once I've done this, it's ready for me to start decorating. Dreamscape papers are great for this because they've already done the hard work for you. So here we go, this Elements Ink Pine, and I'm not doing it all over it. I'm just thinking of it a bit like moss and lichen on a rock. So just dabbing it about a bit. And this is Elements Ink Sahara. Get a bit of an autumnal feel. And we're going in with Bermuda just to deepen it up a bit. I do like that colour. Just takes it to another place. And I'm inking up today with Versafine Clair ink Paradise, and I'm using the New Winter Spice text stamp. And with a new stamp, I like to have given it a good try on my rough paper first. So I'm doing a couple of stamps here, there and everywhere, because this is just adding texture for us. Lovely. And now these are the potion bottles, and we're going to be doing these in lots of colours. So that was the first bottle, and I've got a different bottle now, Versafine Clair ink Charming Pink. And I'm just creating, if you like, a shelf, a potions shelf. So these are the potion bottles, so the stamp is called Potions. Okay, and I'm just folding it over so that I can do the tops of the bottles without getting it in places I didn't want it to be. There we go. See how I did that? I folded it in half because I didn't want it to go on the other side, and now I'm going to do the same sort of thing here, where I've just folded over the edge to do the top bits of the bottles. So we're back, and we're using Versafine Clair Tulip Red. And the colours may not look true because of all the colour work we've done with the elements, but that's fine. It's actually just about building up these shapes that are all united by the background. And this one is Warm Breeze. And these bottles are lovely. They're all different shapes and sizes. I'm using Distress Oxide Mustard Seed because it's a lovely yellow, and because although it doesn't show up as brightly as perhaps I'd want, I actually don't want it to show up brightly. I want it to be like a shadow, but not a dark shadow, something to just lift our background. Here we go, Posca pen highlights. What do I mean? Well, I'm going around a couple of the bottles and just smudging the edge, and it makes it look like it's shining, which is lovely and implies magic. So here we go, Aqua Green Posca, my favourite. I can't think why. I'm just adding a few little dots around. And finally, we've got the Lilac Posca pen. And now we're on to embossing. So I've got my Heartfelt Verses stamp just for you. I've inked it up with Versamark, and I'm going to use some Wow embossing powder, opaque bright white. Okay, and there you go. And as you can see, I've got one going one way and one going the opposite way. Now that is because it's on the sides of the matchbox, and I want the script to be read from the same side up, and that's how it works. So now we go on to matchbox time, and I love this because it always looks so destructive. Here we go, we're ripping it apart, bippity boppity glue on the craft mat, and I use my finger because, to be quite honest with you, it just reminds me of when I was at school and I had a spatula. And I think I've got more control with the finger. I'm not sure how that sounded, but there we go. Here we go. I am covering the matchbox with the glue, and then I am turning it over and gluing the tabs over. And they're fabulous. This glue really sticks stuff. I loves it. And the best bit is it doesn't actually stick your fingers together. So once you get to the last bit, put some glue on your tabs, stick it down, and tuck those tabs over. And I'm just going to finish this off with some Cosmic Shimmer Metallic Gilding polish. And that is Lime Burst. And all I'm doing is gently putting it round the corners and the edges. And you know what? It's a great finishing touch. Really is. Brings it all together. Don't be afraid of smudging stuff with your fingers. Now, this is the other bit of the matchbox, and I'm just gluing it back together and tucking it all in so that we have the drawer section. Okay. And after having put the lid on, I realised I didn't mean to do that. So back to the gilding polish, and it's Lime Burst, and I'm just using the sponge to cover the outside. And now I'm getting some with my brush and some water, and I'm just using that to, one coat, cover the inside. Just ties it all together. Amazing. It's very forgiving as well. You don't have to be, I mean, I'm not the neatest of crafters, I suppose, but you don't have to be perfect with it, which is fab. And I am going to fill that with something anyway. Don't forget with these polishes, bit of spray on the top and on your sponge before you close it. I'm popping some Bauble shredded paper in there to act as a cushion. Now, the magic recipe. So we've got our little secret recipe going rolled up into one of the files. Nope, one of the vials. Oh, Emma Jo. Okay, so I've got some of the Khadi paper from one of the small cards. And I've just measured my vial to see how deep the paper needs to be. And I'm using my palette knife to distress the edges, which is fab. Because it's rag paper, it works really well like that. So I'm going to colour the paper with a little spray of water on my craft mat, and opened my Elements Ink Truffle, turned the lid upside down, and found some ink in there. And I'm just going to use the dark truffle, okay, I've diluted it quite a fair bit, to just give me a base. And I'm sort of going for a parchmenty type look. If you think anything's too dark, grab your kitchen paper or paper towel and just give it a bit of a swipe off. I'm just going to add with my paintbrush a couple of lines, distress it a bit. When we were at school, we used to use coffee and stuff like that, but this works just as well. Elements Ink Sahara, just giving us a different tone, which I love. And again, if it's too dark for you, take some of the colour off. And I'm splatting it now, because the splats are great. It's just cracking texture, isn't it? So once you've done one side, turn it over, do the other side. More or less, more of the same, you know. Diluted truffle around the edges, a little bit of Sahara just to give a bit of depth to it all. And then couple of stripes and splat away. And all I'm doing with that is just water on my paintbrush with some colour and flicking my paintbrush like you're flicking a cigarette. So I've got Versafine Clair Cheerful, and you might think, oh, the stamp by the way is Fairy Spells, and you might think that's not showing up very well, but that's fine. I just want it to add texture, and I'm going to go over it with Versafine Clair, not over exactly, but just stamp in different places. Same stamp, Fairy Spells, and Versafine Clair Pine Cone. And I'm just altering the text along it. And then I'm rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. So, Mica Minerals Metallic Bronze, cracking colour. Use the back end of your paintbrush, or at least that's what I'm doing, and grab some of that bippity-boppity glue and dot about a bit. And it may look a little bit, how can I put this, engineered. But that's okay for one side. I'm just going to make sure that my bippity-boppity glue has got some of that mica mineral on it, and just brush the excess off with one of my extra soft watercolour brushes. And then I'm going to dry it quickly with a Ranger Heat tool. And it's great for parchment effects. Potion stamp again, Versafine Clair Ink Nocturne. And I'm just going to do that on both sides. This little bottle right at the bottom, and it's the one that says Fairy Dust. And adding some more of that mica mineral just to the edges to take down that bright yellow and brown that we have. Just adding that orangey colour, it's great. Add some more glue and a couple of dots of Starbrights Holographic Glitter, and it just makes it look magical. So on the other side, I'm just going to give it a slightly different treatment with a glittery yellow Posca pen, adding some lines, you know, like you'd see on parchment. And again, I think that's the glittery, yes, it is glittery orange Posca pen. Going around my circles and dots from the splatters and giving it a bit of a roll until I can get to the bit that I want. And that's going to have the potion stamp on. Now, I'm not inking this up. I'm just going to use the remnants from earlier. And here we go with the Fairy Spells again, just once more. Again, not inking up, just using the remnants. And I'm rolling it up, ready to go in the bottle. and using some hemp string. I've gone for the olive colour. And I'm just tying it in a knot, which isn't easy when you've got big fingers. And I'm popping it into one of the corked vials and adding just a little sprinkle of the metallic bronze Mica Minerals, because that's so effective. And then we're popping that secret recipe into the potions box. And you, my friends, you've done it! Hurrah! Ha, ha, ha. Thank you very much for coming along with me and making something fabulously dusty and popping it in a box. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I certainly have. If you've got any comments to make, please pop them in the post below and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. In the meantime, you have fun and happy crafting. Bye.